Gentlemen, you are the cream of the world's air forces. This country desperately needs your help. 6 months ago, an extremely well-armed and organized terrorist force carried out a coup d'etat. Attempts to free our country have been foiled by repeated surprise attacks. To avoid escalating this war and causing unacceptable civilian losses, we wish to employ your services. Surgical airstrikes and the elimination of enemy air superiority will tip the scales in our favor. You will receive remuneration commensurate with your positions as the premier top guns of the world. This is an evaluation of your operational abilities. Intelligence reports an enemy supply unit moving to resupply their forward positions. You should have the advantage of surprise. We should have localized air superiority for the duration of the operate target, C5A supply unit.
Ready? Break now! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Here! Ho! Great shot! He's wasted! On our right! Let's return to mission, but up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him! Don't let him get away! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight! Here! Ho! Enemy in sight! Enemy target located! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Great shot! Don't let him get away. Enemy here. Ho! Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Stay with him. I'll be on our 6. Up ahead! Take off! Don't let him get away. Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Bag one. Hook on our tail. On our right. Up ahead. On our left. Right up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Jesus, miss! Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Great shot! Don't let him get away! Bag one! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Fire is wasted! Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Wasted! Mission accomplished.
Immediate mobilization required. Our base's position was compromised in the last enemy push. Reports indicate imminent arrival of bombers. Scramble and ace those targets. B-52 Bomber Force.
Ready? Right now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! On our left! Up ahead! On our right! Bogey at 12 o'clock! On our right! Enemy in sight! Up ahead! On our right! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6! Bogey on our 6! Great shot! He's wasted! Up ahead!
Warning.
Enemy locked on. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Bogey on our tail! On our left! Up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our 6! Let's return to mission! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6! Enemy target located! Enemy in sight! Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Blew him away! I'm losing him! Enemy target located. Enemy in... Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Take off! Back one! On our right! Bogey on our 6. On our right! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! We blew him away! On our left. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Great shot! Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight.
Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down!
Alert, body
Again!
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body
On our
damage.
left!
Alert, body damage.
Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Don't let him get away!
Alert, body damage.
Stay
Alert,
with
body
him.
damage. Alert, body damage.
Mission accomplished.
AWACS reports an enemy incursion in our sector. We are diverting you from local air support to forward operations. Neutralize the approaching target, enemy attacking force. Formation makeup is unknown. Expect enemy fighter support and a tough dogfight. Good luck.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! On our right! Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our left. Up ahead. On our right. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Take off! Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away! Jesus, miss!
Warning.
Locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Enemy in sight. Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our 6.
Caution.
Pull out of it!
Engine stalled.
Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our left. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail. On our left. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. And bogey on our 6. Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Great shot. Enemy. Jesus, miss. Bogey on our 6. Bingo! Yahoo! Take off. Fire. Shoot it down. Jesus, miss. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Jesus, miss. Jesus, miss. Away. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Jesus, miss! Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our right! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Bingo! Yahoo! Back one! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. On our right! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Fire! Shoot it down! Take off! Bogey on our 6. Enemy target located. Take off! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Bingo! Blew him away! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Bogey on our 6. Jesus, miss! Take off! On our right! Up
Warning.
ahead! Bogey on our 6. On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our right! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him! Jesus, miss! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Back one! Mission accomplished!
Up to now, our offensive missions have been constrained by the presence of civilians in Donetsk City. A recent evacuation of that city permits us to engage hard targets within the city. Target 1, Computer Communications Center. Target 2, Enemy Headquarters built. Night conditions should neutralize enemy ground fire. However, the city has at least 3 interceptors available. We have no intelligence on force composition. From now on, you will have a wingman assigned to you. Inform him of the operation before departure.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Up ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy bogey on our
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked up.
Alert, body
Take off!
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. Don't let him get away. Take off! Bingo! Yahoo! He's wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy target
Alert,
located.
body damage.
On our left.
Alert, body damage.
Bogey on our
Alert, body
6.
damage.
Enemy in sight. Take off! Altitude too low. Flying!
Caution.
Great shot! Up ahead! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. On our left! Bogey at 12 o'clock! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! On our left! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Bring it! Toast! Fire! Shoot it down! Here! Toast! I'm losing him! Enemy target located. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Enemy target located.
Up to now, our offensive missions have been destroyed.
Ready? Right now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Altitude too low. Flying. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. On our right. Up ahead. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. Great shot. Don't let him get away. Here. Toast. Enemy target located. Bingo! Yeah! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yeah!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Great shot!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Up ahead!
damage. Alert, body damage.
Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Great shot! Don't let him get away. Back one! On our right! Up ahead! He locked on target. Bogey on our tail! On our left! Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our 6! On our left! Take off! Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on. Bogey on our tail. Take off. On our left. Up ahead. Let's bring the fire. Shoot him down. On our left. Up ahead. On our right. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with me! Here! Out! On our right! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our right. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Enemy in sight. Jesus, miss! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Here! Toast! I'm losing it! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away! Great shot! Stay with him. He's Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our right. Bingo! Yeah! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Enemy take off! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Enemy target located. On our left! Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Climb! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Climb!
Alert, body
Damn it!
damage. Alert, body
I'm losing
damage.
him!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bring back one! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. I'm
Alert,
hit! I'm
body
hit!
damage. Alert,
Enemy
body
locked on
damage.
target.
Alert, body damage.
Bingo!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Jesus, miss! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished.
Reconnaissance indicates a weak link in their fuel supply infrastructure. A single pipeline transfers all crude oil from their fields to their refinery. Strike both the pipeline and the refinery. Target: oil refinery plant and oil field. Use the pipeline as a reference to the refinery. Locate and destroy.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our right. Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Great shot. Altitude too low. Flying. Enemy locked on target. Great shot. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Take off. On our too low. Climb.
Caution.
On our left. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Great shot! On our left. Bogey on our 6. Bingo! Yahoo! Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. On our left.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. On our left.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Take off. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Fire. Shoot it down. Great shot. Take off. Bogey on our tail. Jesus, miss. On our right. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot it down. Bingo. Yahoo! Fire. Shoot it down. Jesus, miss. Don't be toast. Enemy in sight.
Reconnaissance indicates a weak link in their fuel supply.
Ready? Right now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Up ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! On our right. Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution.
Enemy take
Low
off.
altitude.
Altitude
Caution.
too low. Flying.
Low altitude.
Bingo! Yahoo! targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Enemy locked in. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on 3. Bogey on our tail. Altitude too low. Climb. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. On our right. Enemy in. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Jesus, miss! Take off! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Enemy targets located. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Take off! Bogey on our tail! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Fire! Shoot it down!
Warning.
Great shot!
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! Take off! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. What? Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Take off! Great shot! Bingo! Yeah! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Don't let him get a back one. Enemy targets located. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Here! Toast! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Quick shot!
Caution. Alert. Body
Damage.
damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Quick shot!
Caution.
Enemy target located. Focus 12 o'clock. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked up. Quick shot! Quick take off! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. On our right. And bingo! Yeah! Up ahead! Enemy in sight.
Warning.
Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6. West Richard on our left. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. On our left. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Blew him away. Bogey on our 6. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! Stay with him. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! Great shot! Blew him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our right. Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. Take off. On our right. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Fire. Shoot it down. Bingo! Bogey on our 6. On our right. Let's return to mission, buddy. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Bogey on our 6. Here. Enemy target. Take off. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down. Bingo! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Left breaker up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down. Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Jesus, miss! Left breaker ends and misses. Jesus, miss! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! He's wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished.
The enemy has proved to have significant resources. This war of attrition is not to our advantage. We are now targeting key infrastructure target. Resources mining system and production plant. Intelligence reports stealth fighters operating in this theater. Remember, their lack of radar signature makes visual sighting essential.
Ready? Right now! Enemy target located. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bogey on our 6. Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. On our right. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Take off. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! On our left. Bogey on our tail. On our right. Enemy in. Up ahead. On our left. Bingo! Yahoo! Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. take off! Enemy locked on target. Enemy in sight. Great shot!
Warning.
On our left! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our 6. What? Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Take off! Bingo! Yahoo! On our right! Up ahead! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bogey on our 6. On our right! Up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our 6. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Stay with it. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead. Fire. Shoot it down.
Alert, body
Ahead.
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy target located. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in. Take off. Enemy locked on target. Great shot. Enemy in sight. Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage. Alert,
Enemy
body
locked on us.
damage.
Missile approaching.
Alert,
Shot
body
too
damage.
low. Flying.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy target located. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Let's return to mission, buddy. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Bingo! Yeah! Blew him away! Enemy target on our 6. Take off! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Wingman has been hit. Enemy locked on. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our left. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our left! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on. Bingo! Yeah, take off! Great shot! On our left! Mission accomplished.
The enemy's ADCRS, Air Defense Command and Radar System, has been identified. We can expect a steep drop in enemy effectiveness if this site is destroyed. The enemy has an effective SAM kill zone around the target. Its one weak point is a narrow ravine leading to the base. This requires precision, nav of the Earth target, enemy radar site. You have no effective countermeasures to this model of SAM. Exit the ravine and you...
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. On our tail! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! It's wasted! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Blew him away! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Blew him away! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! It's wasted! Enemy target located. On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Altitude too low. Flying. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! It's wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished.
Regaining Donetsk city is a prime strategic consideration for the enemy. Full stall, offensive operations, we will strike their staging area. Target, staging facilities and B-1 bombers. Our goal is to hit them just before their incursion begins.
Ready? Break now! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Great shot! Move on our tail! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Stay with him! Great shot! Don't let him get away! Bingo! Yahoo! Jesus, miss! Jesus, miss! Jesus, miss! Blew him away! Stay with him! Enemy targets located! Enemy targets located! Up ahead! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shooting blew him away! On our left! Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our 6! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! On our left! Enemy targets located. Bogey on our 6! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! He's wasted! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down on our right. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail. On our right. I'm losing him. Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down. Bingo! Yahoo! On our right! Up ahead! Back one! On our right! Great shot! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Bingo! Blew him away! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on our right. Bogey on our tail. Great shot. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy targets located.
Warning.
Up ahead. Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Up ahead! Book at 12 o'clock. On our right.
Caution.
Pull out of it.
Engine stall.
Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Mission accomplished.
Naval Intelligence report a transport heading to Nawikot Bay. Since it may be a troop transport, we need to sink it before it docks. Follow up with destruction of the island port facilities. The opposition is expected to consist of an enemy fighter wing of unknown composition and patrolling Aegis warships. The Aegis missile system is highly effective. Eliminate the warships quickly.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire!
Alert
Bogey on our
body
6.
damage. Alert body
Enemy in
damage.
sight.
Alert body damage.
Take off!
Alert body damage.
On Bogey on our
Alert
6.
body damage.
On our right! Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Take off! Enemy in sight. Jesus, missed! Enemy in sight. Enemy bogey on our tail!
Alert
Again!
body
Again!
damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
On our right! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Quick shot! Back one! On our left! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6.
Caution.
Pull out of it!
Engine stall.
Up
Caution.
ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Take your back one! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution.
Bingo!
Low altitude.
Altitude too low. Climb.
Low altitude. Caution.
Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution. Low altitude.
Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target.
Caution. Caution.
Shot!
Alert body damage.
Hold me on our
Alert
six.
body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
On our right.
Alert body damage.
Up ahead. On our right. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo!
Caution body
Damage!
damage.
Ready? Right now. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Bingo! Yeah! Hold me on our six. On our left. Altitude too low. Climb. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down. Hold me on our six. Fire! Shoot him down. Jesus, miss! Go bingo! Yahoo! Jeez! Enemy target located. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him! Hold me on our six. Enemy in sight. Hold me on our six. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! Take off! On our left! Up ahead! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Take it! Enemy target located. Hold me on our six. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot him down! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! Back one! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! On our right! On our right! Enemy in up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Take great shot! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Back one! Great shot! Enemy locked on. He's wasted! Jesus, miss! Bingo! Yahoo! Don't let him get away! He's toast! Enemy in sight. Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Fine.
Caution.
Bingo!
Low altitude.
On our right. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail. Take off! Enemy in sight.
Warning.
Locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! On our left. Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Climb! I'm loose. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Bring shot! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead!
Warning.
On our left! Bogey on our 6. Enemy is up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! On our right! On our left! On our right! Enemy bogey on our 6. On our left! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail. Take off. Great shot. Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. On our left. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Take off. Enemy locked on target.
Warning.
Bogey on our 10. Enemy locked on
Warning.
us. Missile
Caution.
approaching. Dive. Dive. On our left. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked. Enemy target located. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished. Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bogey on our 6. Enemy targets located. On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down. On our right. On our right. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. On our bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Fire! Shoot him down. Fire! Shoot him down. Take back 1 on our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Fire! Shoot him down. Fire! Shoot him down. Great shot. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! They blew him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution. No altitude.
Altitude
Caution.
too low. Flying. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution. Low
Bingo!
altitude.
Yahoo! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Altitude too low. Flying. On our right.
Alert
Bogey on our
body
6.
damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
Take off.
Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
On our right. Up ahead. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low.
Alert
Flying.
body damage. Alert body
Take
damage.
off.
Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
Enemy target located. Enemy in. On our right. Enemy locked on target. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail. Altitude too low. Flying. On our right. Let's return to mission, buddy. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Jesus, miss! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! Oh, on our left! Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Mission accomplished.
has proved its reliability. We request you aid in the extraction of one of our officers from the enemy mountain fortress. You can only send one unit without alerting the target, cripple enemy air defense and land on their runway. Only you have the requisite skills. You will be paid handsomely.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
On our
Alert,
left.
body damage. Alert, body damage.
Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Great shot! Blew him away! I'm losing him! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. On our right! Up ahead! On our left! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Jesus, miss! Fire! Shoot him, Pokey on our 6. Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Bingo! Yeah! Take off! Fire! Shoot him down! Jesus, miss! Jesus, miss! He is toast! On our right! Pokey on our 6. On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Great shot! Back one! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Pokey on our 6. On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Up ahead! On our left! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! On our right! Pokey on our 6. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Take off! Pokey on our tail! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! Enemy in sight. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him down! Get back one!
The captured port has become a key resupply facility for our forces. We cannot allow the enemy to cripple or recapture it. Current intelligence suggests the enemy is preparing a bombing raid utilizing stealth bombers. Even one can devastate the facility. Keep alert. Target: stealth bomber wing.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bingo! Yahoo! Hold on our tail! Jesus, miss! On our right! On our left! Bogey on our 6! Enemy in sight! Take off! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Blue hit! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. On our left! Take off! Enemy locked on target. Up ahead!
Warning.
Great shot!
Warning.
Enemy
Warning.
locked on target. Fire! Up
Warning.
ahead!
Warning.
Bingo! Yeah! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. On our right! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! On our right!
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our right! Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive!
Caution.
Bogey
Alert. Body
damage!
damage. Alert. Body
Enemy
damage.
take off!
Alert. Body damage.
Bogey on our tail!
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body
Up
damage.
ahead! Enemy locked on us. Missile
Caution.
approaching. Dive!
Caution.
Dive!
Caution.
On our right! Bogey on our 6! Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. On our right! Bingo! Yeah! Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Enemy locked on target. Lock, take off!
Warning.
On our left! Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Up ahead! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! Take off! On our right! On our left! Bogey on our 6! What? Bogey on our 6! On our right! Enemy in sight! Bogey on our tail! On our left! Bogey on our 6! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6! Enemy targets located!
Warning.
Enemy locked on us! Missile approaching! Dive! Dive! Bogey on our tail! Up ahead! On our right! Bogey at 12 o'clock! Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot him down! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot him down! Quick shot! Back one! On our right! Bogey on our 6! On our right! Bogey on our 6! Take off!
Warning. Warning.
Stay with him! Take back one! On our right! Bogey on our tail! Altitude too low, climb! Enemy in sight! Fire, shoot it down! Sprint blew him away! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Quick shot! He's toast! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Quick shot! Fire! Shoot it down! He's toast! Mission accomplished.
The enemy is committing its huge mothership to this theater. They are growing desperate. Eliminate the mothership and their naval mobility is crippled. There are no reference points on the ocean. Pay attention to the operational target mothership.
Ready? Break now! Enemy targets located. Focus 12 o'clock. Bogey on our tail. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution.
Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. Take off. On our left. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution.
Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Swing! Altitude too low. Climb! On our right. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Altitude too low. Climb!
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body
Bogey on our 6.
damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert.
On our right.
Body
Bogey on our
damage.
6. Flex swing up ahead. Take off. On our left. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Bogey on our tail. Take off. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our left. Swing shot. Bogey on our tail. On our left. Let's return to mission, buddy. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Stay with him. Bingo! Yeah! Enemy target located. Enemy in Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Take off! On our left!
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. On our left!
Warning.
Enemy in sight. On our left! Bogey on our tail! On our right! On our left! On our left! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Up ahead!
Warning.
On our left! Bogey on our tail! On our right! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot him down! Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Enemy
Warning.
in sight.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Enemy in sight.
Warning.
Enemy locked on us. Missile
Caution.
approaching. Dive! Dive! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Fire down! Backflow! Enemy target located.
Warning.
Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy in sight. Fire! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy target located. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus! Miss! On our Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. On our left. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Bogey on our tail. On our left. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Fire. Shoot it down. Here, take off! On our right! Up ahead! Bogey on our tail! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Here! Out! Enemy target located. Focus
Warning.
12 with enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our tail! Take off! Up ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock! Great shot! Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our 6! Take off! Enemy target located! Up ahead!
Warning.
Enemy locked on us!
Warning.
Missile approaching! Dive! Dive! On our right! Take off! Enemy locked on us! Missile approaching! Dive! Dive! Great route! Enemy target located! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target! Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus! Miss! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy locked on target! Here! Out! Jesus! Miss! Flex breaker! Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! He's wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Mission accomplished.
Despite the elimination of all fuel refineries, the enemy continues to conduct operations. Despite the elimination of all fuel refineries, the enemy continues to conduct operations. You are assigned to recon for undetected fuels. Even though this is just recon, engage and eliminate any opposition patrols. Good
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. On our left! Okay, altitude too low, flying! On our right! Up ahead! On our right! Up ahead! On our right! Enemy locked on target, look on our tail! On our right! Enemy in... Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Oh, locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! On our... Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! On our right! Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Enemy in... On our right! Enemy target located. On our right! Up ahead! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Quick shot! Enemy in... Jesus, miss! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Enemy target located. Bogey on our tail! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Mission accomplished.
has identified the last fuel depot. Go and bomb it flat. Target a group of fuel production bases. The enemy is using its top guns in this theater. Keep focused. Good hunting.
Ready? Right now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution. Low
Enemy
altitude.
locked on target. Altitude too low. Flying.
Low altitude.
Focus on
Caution.
our 6.
Low altitude.
Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution. Low
Enemy locked on
altitude.
takeoff.
Caution.
Altitude too
Low
low.
altitude.
Flying.
Caution.
Focus on our 6. Take off. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. On our right. Focus on our 6. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution.
Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution.
Great shot. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Great shot. Focus on our 6. Take off. Enemy in sight. Focus on our 6. On our right. Focus on our 6. Up ahead. Missile approaching. Dive. Dive. Focus on our tail. Focus on our 6. Enemy in sight. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Blew him away. Enemy target located. Enemy up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Blew him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Great! Altitude too low. Flying!
Alert. Body damage.
On our right.
Alert. Body
Focus
damage.
on our 6.
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert.
Take off.
Body damage.
On our right. Enemy in sight. Altitude too low. Flying!
Caution. Low
Enemy shot!
altitude. Warning.
Enemy locked on us.
Warning.
Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Enemy target located. Take off! Altitude too low. Flying! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Focus on our 6. Focus on our tail! Enemy targets located. Take off! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire!
Alert, body
Ahead!
damage. Alert, body damage.
On our right!
Alert, body damage. Alert,
Up ahead.
body damage.
Enemy in
Alert,
sight.
body damage.
Fire! Shoot him down! Stay with him. Blew him away! I'm losing him! Enemy targets located. On our left! Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6.
Alert, body damage. Alert,
Take
body
off.
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Let's return to mission. Enemy targets located. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Enemy
Warning.
locked on us. Missile
Caution.
approaching. Dive!
Caution.
Dive!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target.
Warning.
Altitude
Warning.
too low. Climb!
Warning. 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 Warning.
Let's return. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Enemy bingo! Yeah! Altitude too low. Climb! On our left. Bogey on our 6. Let's return to take off. I'm losing him. Enemy targets located. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. On our left. Enemy locked on bogey on our 6. Great shot. Up ahead. Take off. He's wasted. Bogey on our 6. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on truck. Take off. Enemy targets located. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Take off. Altitude too low. Climb. On our left. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Jesus! Nick! On our right! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. On our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Great shot! He is wasted! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! He's wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo!
Warning.
Mission accomplished.
Our offensive operations are now concentrated on the Scorpion Island fortress. The base itself is a hard nut to crack. We will isolate it by eliminating its bridge and central target, Red Suspension Bridge, to the island and its Air Force base. There will be plenty of ACAC and SAM defenses around the runway. Go in for one pass, then break off operations.
Ready? Right now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. Take off. On our left. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Enemy in sight.
Warning.
We lost a missile approaching. Dive! Dive! And bogey on our tail. Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6. On our
Warning.
left. Up ahead. On our right. Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
We lost a missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Bogey on our 6. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our right. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, missed! On our left.
Caution.
Pull out of it.
Engine stall.
Up ahead.
Caution.
Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Enemy in. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead.
Warning.
Again,
Alert,
bogey
body
on our
damage.
6.
Alert, body damage.
On our
Alert,
right.
body damage. Alert, body damage.
Up ahead.
Alert, body damage.
Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire, shoot him down. Enemy in sight. Fire, shoot him down. Jesus, miss. Don't let him bingo. Yeah, lose him away. Jesus, miss. Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot him! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Jesus, miss! Bogey on our 6. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On a call.
Caution.
Pull out of it.
Engine stall.
Bogey on our tail. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. He's wasted. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yeah! Altitude too low. Climb. Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Enemy take off. Bingo! Yeah! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo!
Caution. Caution.
Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Bingo! Yeah! Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Sprint! Take off! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. On our left. Bogey on our 6.
Caution. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body
I'm
damage.
hit! I'm hit! Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Climb! Take off! Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Bogey on our tail! Take off! Bogey on our 6. Take off!
Warning.
Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! On our left! Let's return to missile. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Climb! Take off!
Warning.
Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Bogey on our tail! Enemy target located. Altitude too low. Climb!
Warning. Body
Bogey on our
damage.
tail!
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage.
On our left!
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage.
Bogey on our tail! On our right! On our right! Bogey on our 6! Up ahead! Take off! Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. On our right! Bogey on our 6! Fire! Shoot it down! On our right! Up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our 6! Up ahead! Bogey on our tail! Enemy in sight! Bogey on our 6! Bogey, take off! Enemy locked on our left! Bogey on our tail! Bogey on our tail! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on our left! Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6! Take off! On our right! Enemy in sight! Up ahead! Wing on our right! Bogey on our 6! Enemy locked on target on our right! Altitude too low! Climb! Bogey on our 6! Mission accomplished!
The enemy is on his last legs. One more strike to play him out. Take your unit through the ravine to the enemy headquarters. Intelligence is sketchy on force composition near the headquarters, so keep on your toes. Fly low on your way in. Everything above the ravine is a SAM.
Ready? Break now! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! He is wasted! Enemy target located. Altitude too low. Climb!
Caution. Low altitude.
Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Up ahead! Altitude too low. Climb!
Caution.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! He is wasted! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our tail! Ready? Break now! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Blew him away! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Jesus, man! Bogey on our tail! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! He is toast! Bogey on our tail! Altitude too low! Flying! I'm losing him! Ready? Break now! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Altitude too low. Climb! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Jesus, miss! We'll be on our tails! Up ahead! Ready? Break now! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Up ahead! Altitude too low. Climb! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Up ahead! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Altitude too low. Climb! Mission accomplished.
airborne fortress discovered. This may be your final task. Eliminate it before it reaches our airspace. Good.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. On our right! Bogey on our tail! On our
Caution.
left! Bogey on our tail!
Caution.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Great shot!
Alert body
Unhit!
damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Caution.
Enemy in sight.
Caution. Caution.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo!
Caution.
Enemy in sight.
Caution. Alert body damage. 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 Caution.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy locked on target. Great shot!
Caution. Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Bingo!
Caution.
Yahoo! Great shot! Enemy locked on target. Enemy locked. Bingo! Yahoo! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy target located. Enemy Jesus! Bingo! Yahoo!
Caution.
Bogey on our 6. Enemy
Caution.
locked on target. Great shot! Take off!
Alert body
Unhit!
damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
Enemy
Alert
target
body
located.
damage. Alert body damage.
On our right! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Don't let it hit his toes! I'm losing him! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight.
Alert body damage. Alert body
Enemy
damage.
target located.
Alert body
Bogey on
damage.
our 6.
Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
Take off! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Bogey on our 6. Great shot!
Caution. Caution.
Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy target located. On our left. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Enemy target located. Take off! I'm losing him! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy in sight.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Bogey on our 6.
Alert, body damage.
Enemy
Alert,
locked on
body
target.
damage. Alert,
Take
body
off.
damage.
Enemy
Alert, body
damage.
damage.
Roger, missile.
Ready? Right now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Great shot!
Caution.
Bogey on our tail! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Dingo! Yahoo! Dingo! Yahoo!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Enemy in
damage.
sight.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked on
Alert,
target.
body damage.
Enemy great shot! Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Great shot! Great shot!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Damn
Alert,
it,
body
damn it.
damage.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Jesus, miss! Bogey on our tail!
Caution.
On our right! Enemy in sight. On our right!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Bogey on
damage.
our tail!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
On our
Alert,
left!
body damage.
Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Bogey on our tail!
Caution. Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Great shot!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo!
Alert, body
Unhit!
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot!
Caution. Caution. Caution.
Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Jesus, miss!
Caution.
Altitude too low. Climb!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Great shot!
Caution.
Bogey on our 6.
Caution.
Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Bingo! Yahoo! Take off! Jesus, miss!
Caution.
Enemy target located. Enemy up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our 6! Take off!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target! Great shot!
Caution.
Enemy in sight! Bogey on our 6!
Caution.
Great shot! Take off!
Caution. 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 Caution.
Enemy target located! Enemy in sight! Bogey on our 6! Take off! Enemy locked on target!
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6! Enemy in sight! Take off!
Caution.
Enemy locked on
Caution.
target! Enemy target located!
Caution.
Bogey on our 6! Bogey on our 6! Enemy in sight! Take off! Let's return to
Warning.
enemy locked missile approaching!
Caution.
Dive! Dive!
Caution. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body
Enemy locked on
damage.
target!
Alert. Body
Enemy
damage.
locked on... Damage! Damage!
Urgent message.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located.
Caution. Alert. Body damage. Alert.
Bogey on
Body
our tail!
damage. Alert. Body damage.
On our right!
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Bogey on our tail! Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo!
Caution. Caution.
Enemy in sight.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked on
Alert,
target.
body damage. Alert, body
Enemy locked on
damage.
target.
Alert, body damage. Caution.
Bingo! Bingo!
Caution.
Bingo!
Caution.
Bingo! Bingo!
Caution.
Bingo!
Caution. Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Bingo!
Caution.
Enemy locked.
Bingo!
Bingo! Bingo! Great shot!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Great shot! Bingo! Enemy locked on target. Great shot!
Caution.
Bingo!
Caution.
Bingo! Great
Caution.
shot! Bingo!
Congratulations. The enemy has capitulated and the coup has failed. The rightful government has been restored to this peaceful country. Your skill as Top Guns changed the balance. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you.